morning, First Minister.
Good morning, Ewan.
Question from Leanne, who is in Dunfermline. She wants to talk about tougher lockdowns. Here's Leanne.
Nicola, when will we have a tougher lockdown? Surely a 3-week shutdown has a greater impact on the virus and a lesser severe impact on the economy than 3 months of a process that has too much flexibility. Why are we not learning from other countries and using the armed forces to help enforce this?
First Minister.
Well, firstly, this is a pretty tough lockdown, and we've always said, and this would be the case, whatever the severity of this was never going to be likely just to be a 2 or 3 week thing. We're in this for the long haul, and this is going to be really difficult, but we need to get people to stick with it. It is tough. We're asking people not to leave their house except for essential purposes, and the police have enforcement powers. Now, I hope they don't have to use them, because I hope people will comply with this voluntarily, because it is all about saving lives, protecting ourselves and our loved ones and our communities. But the police do have enforcement powers. They can issue fixed penalty notices. They can take prosecutions if necessary. So I don't want anybody to get the sense that this is somehow not a strict set of measures, because it really, really is. We're asking people to do things that I never thought I'd be in a position of asking people to do, which is effectively stay at home.
Follow-up question, talking about the lockdown. Got a question here from Linda on social media. First Minister, we need some light at the end of the tunnel. We need hope and something to look forward to. When do you see us coming out of this lockdown?
I can't answer that question right now, and I made a decision at the start of this, and I'm going to stick to it, that I will tell people the things I do know and be as open about that as I possibly can be. But part of that is also about being honest on the things that I don't yet know. And these measures that we have been taking now for about 10 days, at the start of that, we said very clearly that because of the length of time this virus takes to incubate in people, and then the symptoms come out, and then the length of time if somebody's going to get ill, it was always going to take probably 2 or 3 weeks to know what impact these measures are having on the spread of the virus. And we need to have that kind of information and that data before we can start making assessments of how long this is likely to last. But I can't tell people that this is likely to end anytime soon, certainly not in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I know that's really hard for people to hear, but I can't be in a situation where I just tell people what they want to hear and then have to come back a week later and say, I'm sorry about that, it's actually much worse. I think I will hopefully persuade people to stick with it, although I know how hard it is, if I'm as honest and frank as people as I can be. And sometimes that will say, look, I can't answer that question right now, and I can't answer that question right now. Sometimes it will involve me saying, we might have made a mistake about that, but here's what we're doing to put it right. None of us, me included, have ever faced a situation like this before, so we're doing the best we can for the best reasons.
Question from George. I think you might like this one, First Minister.
First Minister, people across Scotland are now beginning to make disastrous attempts to cut their own hair, myself not included though, yet. Will you be cutting your own hair, First Minister, or is that a job for Peter?
I'm not letting Peter anywhere near my hair with a pair of scissors. Can I say that categorically? I cut his hair, as you might have seen,
yes,
at the weekend, and I should say made rather a good job of it, in my own opinion, but he doesn't have much hair for me to have gone wrong. So no, the hair thing is a big problem, and let's just say mine is becoming an increasing source of concern. So I'm not quite sure. My own hairdresser has offered to guide me through it myself on Skype, but I'm not sure that's going to work out well. So I haven't really sort of worked out what I'm going to do about that yet.
Are you suggesting you don't trust your husband with your hair?
I'm absolutely suggesting that, yes.
You did a good job of your husband's hair. Even though it was a buzz cut, it did look neat and tidy.
I've got more hair than he has, so, and I don't want a buzz cut. So.
No. What's the first thing you're going to do once the lockdown's over? Get your hair cut. Get
my hair cut, yeah, definitely. I think I might not be able to be seen in public by that point. See my family.
See your family.
See my family. The family that I've not been able to see. Obviously, like most people, I'm trying to keep in touch with my family over FaceTime and Skype, whereas previously we'd just have phoned each other because we could go and see each other. So I'm doing all these things as well, but give my mum and dad a hug and hug my niece, go and wish my nephew a proper happy birthday, see my mother-in-law again, who's in a particularly vulnerable position. So all of these things, I, just like everybody else, I really look forward to doing. You're going to make me emotional now.
That's the thing, though, because there's so many families in a similar situation to you, which is why I was asking you that question, First Minister. We're all split up from our families. I mean, just the other day that I went to the kitchen and my wife was sobbing and I didn't know quite what was going on.
Is that because you'd come into the kitchen? The social distancing is not enough for your wife.
No. She'd ran out of red wine.
Was it your wife that asked me earlier on about could I enforce a stricter lockdown so that you'd have to be in a different house?